Hello and welcome. You're listening to Start Again with Shaunna Lee, sponsored by Kit McKillop, Reiki Master and Intuitive Guide. This is the place where you will be reminded that it's never too late and you're never too old to do the damn thing. So stick around if you're ready to vibe higher and be inspired to chase your dreams. Together, we will uncover your soul's truest desires. Now, if you're ready, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I have an episode today that I am not entirely certain where it's going to take us. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I, for once, am not going to be giving you advice. I personally don't really like those posts that start with vulnerability post. You know, you see people making these posts online, but I understand why they do that, to be honest. I understand the sentiment behind it because when we open ourselves up to being vulnerable publicly, the natural inclination is to want to tell people that that's what you're doing so that they will be extra kind to you. Be gentle with your feedback is essentially what they are saying. So all of that to say, I am going to share some things with you, a little bit of a behind the curtain view on this entrepreneur journey that I have been on. And I think the reason I feel compelled to share this, one, it's because my hairstylist suggested it and I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. And two, I think it really talks to the collective energy of all of us and what we're all going through right now. So I know that I am not the only one who's feeling this way, is the ultimate reason why I'm sharing. But I want to just tell you, I have been in a state of feeling defeated and completely without energy to give one more iota towards anything else. And it got to a point where, listen, you all know I'm a fan of therapy, and my therapist is on speed dial. I'm keeping her in business this holiday season, let me tell you, because she talks me off the ledge in the best ways possible. Honestly, it is because I have been so defeated to the point of I feel that depression state kind of inching closer. And so that's really what I wanted to talk about was how do we know the difference between we're just stressed out, we're burnout, and we might be depressed. And that's not really the direction I thought the episode was going to go. Let me just tell you that. But there are things that, in fact, I have a freebie on my site, at least I think it's still there, that is a checklist of things that you can do to essentially army crawl your way out of depression. Because I have been in this headspace, and I use that on purpose because generally our moods and our emotions and our state of well-being or not comes from the thoughts we are thinking. And so when I am in a depressed mood or I am in that state of life feels worthless, I don't have energy to get off the couch, I feel like, what's the fucking point? Let's just take a nap. Those are generally because I have overexerted my energy and I'm not getting filled back up, or I'm not filling my own cup up. Why the fuck do you think I talk about self-care all the time? Because it's critical. But when I have not taken my own medicine and taken my own advice, I don't fill my own cup. And then I am just giving my energy away in all the places that we do. And then I feel depleted. And then, let me just tell you, when things don't go the way you want them to, we can very easily from that space become defeated and feel like, well, shit, I was just kicked when I was already down on the ground. And that is what I'm going to tell you, my friends. That's where I've been this last week or so. And I wasn't going to come on and give you advice because I'm currently working my way out of that space. But what I am going to do is share a story with you because it helped me. And that was, I was listening to Marie Forleo's one of her latest podcast episodes, and cannot even tell you the man's name that she was interviewing, but he has written a book, and it is called, I believe, The Scarcity Brain. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. Let's tune into this. And I would say go listen to that episode. It is fascinating. I'm going to read his book. I think it's an interesting concept. But what I took away from that is what I'm going to share with you. And that was this story he told where a university engineering professor was playing Legos with his 3-year-old son. And he said they were building this bridge, and the bridge was kind of wonky and it was off balance. And he thought, oh, I know exactly how to fix this. And so he reached over to go get some more Legos to build up the other side so that he could stabilize this bridge, and it would then, sit balanced. And he said by the time in the time it took him to go gather those Legos and then come back and turn around, his 3-year-old son, had taken Legos away from the other side and balanced it. He fixed the problem by just taking away Legos on one of the sides. And he thought, oh shit, I've been out engineered by a 3-year-old. Like, what the hell? And for whatever reason, this particular situation really sat with him. And he was like, why was my inclination to go add more Legos when my son very easily just took some away and fixed the problem? And he thought, I wonder if am I the only one who does this? And so he, being the university professor that he is, went on to do several studies. And I can't remember all the details. It doesn't really matter. But he did multiple different studies with different groups of people to see how they would solve problems. And he said, universally, across the board, everyone tried to add more to solve a problem. There was one that I do remember, and that was one of these studies was a mini golf course hole. And one of those was kind of in disarray. It needed to be updated. It wasn't working as well as it could. And so he brought in this group of people, and everyone tried to add more to solve the problem of making this hole a better performing mini golf hole. And he said there was already a lot of stuff there. And so it was already kind of in disarray. And what really needed to happen was we needed to pare it down and take away some things. All of this story kind of came to me in a moment when I was feeling defeated. Things weren't going the way I wanted them to in my business. Certain relationships are a little bit more of a challenge than I want them to be. This time of year is super fucking stressful for parents who have children in school. And with the impending holidays, I say impending on purpose, because the holiday season is one of my favorite times of year, but it also simultaneously is one of the most stressful times of year. All of that to say, I know kind of what is coming down the pike, and I knew how I was feeling, and I was teetering on this familiar, not comfortable zone of depression. And I thought, okay, hold on, hang on one second. And this is when I heard that podcast episode. So I thought, okay, how do I pare down what I'm doing as a way to solve this problem of how I'm feeling? And so I took a look at everything that's on my plate, all of the things I do for my business, all of the things I do for my family. And I am going to be on a podcast in the near future, and it is called Power in the Pause, I believe is the name of her new podcast. So I am going to preemptively guess what our conversation is going to be about. And I think it's amazing timing because I am going to give myself permission to pause. And I'm going to give myself permission to do less as a way of navigating what comes next in my business. Where do I go next, personally and professionally, and giving myself a chance to just rest, be creative, and play. So that is what I am going to do as a takeaway from where I have been, how I have been feeling. And this episode is really just to tell you that I'm not going to do these solo episodes for a little bit. I'm going to take a hot minute to just bring you the interview episodes each week. I have so many conversations that are already recorded, that are already scheduled, and I will bring those to you each week on Thursdays moving forward, as I have been. And I'm going to take a pause from recording these solo episodes, and I'm going to give you guys an opportunity and encourage you to do the same thing, giving you permission to pause in whatever way that rings true for you. And I think that there are times in our lives when we feel called to a certain direction, and then we get caught up in all of the hoopla that it is to be a human being. I will tell you that I had lunch with a friend of mine the other day. We were talking about this launch that didn't go the way I wanted it to, and my disappointment, specific things that didn't go the way I wanted them to. One of the things she said was, well, that person probably isn't open to the woo-woo side of things. And at first, I will be honest with you, it was a little bit, I took a little bit of offense to it because I thought, well, that wasn't even woo-woo at all. And then I was like, hold on a second. She knows me, and she knows my inclination to view things from a spiritual lens. And that is not necessarily a mainstream view. And most people are not yet ready to consider those different ways to look at things. And so I think moving forward, when I choose what comes next for me, it will be leaning into and fully embracing that part of me that I have talked a little bit about, but I haven't really fully embraced. And so if you know me personally, you know that I have some crazy views on the world. And I think I might just publicly start talking about those a little bit more because I find that shit endlessly fascinating. Well, I'll just give you a heads up. It might ruffle some feathers, which we all know I'm not afraid to do. So I don't know where that leaves us, and I don't know where that is leading me to, but I will tell you that while I take this pause from future solo episodes, I will be taking that time to figure out what comes next for me. It will be amazing if I can find a way to do both in a way that is more authentically me by embracing the woo-woo side of me. So we'll see where that goes. But for now, I just wanted to say thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it. And we will see where the direction of this podcast goes next. I would welcome feedback and suggestions. But until then, I will just say thank you for listening. And I hope we talk again soon. Did you know I'm Reiki certified? My Reiki master and intuitive guide, Kit McKillop, is sponsoring this episode. While I am certain her intuition is spot on, don't simply take my word for it. Her gentle spirit will guide you along your path in a way that feels like home. She has opened registration for a new class offering called Claim Your Energy, which is designed to help empaths and highly sensitive people learn the basics of energetic exchange. Do you ever wonder why it can be overwhelming and feel draining to be in large groups of people? She will teach you easy tools and techniques to ground, center, and shield your energy in this course. Claim Your Energy with Kit at kitmckillop.com. Use promo code SimplyShaunna to save 20%.